everyone, welcome to my channel 10 Ways to Wear, your home for relatable, wearable, and affordable fashion. I'm Alicia and today we are in the kitchen. I'm going to be sharing with you all 10 items that I like to stay stocked up on in my home so that I don't have to worry about running out of these items. I don't have to constantly go out and buy them. I thought it would be a good idea to share them with you all because I think these are pretty much good items that you should have in your home at all times, especially if you're a woman. So if you're interested in seeing what these 10 items are, as well as a few items that I stopped stocking up on, let's go ahead and jump right into this video. Hopefully it'll be very helpful. Okay, you all, so in this video we're going to be discussing items that range from hygiene items, general home items, food items that I like to stay stocked up on. The only category that I pretty much left off of this video is skincare, and that is something that I like to have on hand at all times, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about that towards the end of the video. But I want to start off with an item that I'm a little bit traumatized by from the pandemic. This was an item that literally disappeared off the shelves immediately. When I say immediately, if you didn't have this item in your home already with a little bit of stock, you were in trouble, okay? And that is toilet paper. And I'm also going to include paper towels in this category. Girl, when I tell you that the toilet paper disappeared, I'm going to insert some images of the shelves of people looking for toilet paper during the pandemic. There was none. And what you supposed to wipe your butt with? Like, for real, toilet paper, paper towels, and wipes disappeared. So I always like to keep a good stock of toilet paper in my home. I'm going to insert a little clip of my little toilet paper stash, and girl, it's in here in my apartment. I don't have a garage. I don't want to keep it out in my storage in the back of my apartment building because I don't want like dust to get in there or spiders, you know, and that's what I have to use to clean myself with. So I want to keep it clean. So I keep it here in my apartment and I keep it stacked up to the roof, literally, okay? I will never run out of toilet paper ever again. And I did it during the pandemic because I stayed stocked up on toilet paper. I always stay stocked up on toilet paper. That's something that I've always done. I shared a video at my old apartment years ago where I shared things that I like to stay stocked up on, and toilet paper was one of them. And I showed you guys I always keep a good stash of toilet paper. So yes, that's the first thing. Toilet paper, paper towels, your girl is gonna keep on hand stocked, well stocked, okay? Because I don't play about that. The next thing is face and body wash, and that also is gonna include feminine wash. Anything that I wash my face with, or my butt with, or my stuff with, I'm gonna keep stocked up on because I would hate to like run out of that and then I have to like go and buy it and use like a more harsh soap on like say my vagina or something like that. I like to use certain soaps certain places, so I love a good smelling body wash and I love a nice, you know, not too harsh vaginal wash. I think that's super important. But also anything that I wash my face with, I like to stay stocked up on. So I want to share some of the products that I use. I absolutely love the Honey Pot's foam washes. This is like my preferred wash right here. But it's getting more and more expensive, and it's also getting a little bit harder to find. Target hasn't been as stocked up on this product for some reason. I've been ordering it on Amazon lately, and it's getting a little expensive, but it's not the only feminine wash that I use. I also like to use Vagisil wash. These are the two that I like to use. This is the Odor Block, and this is the pH Balance. I buy these packs from Walmart.com. They're very, very affordable. That's a great way to go if you like to keep a good stock of vaginal wash. Walmart.com usually has those 3 and 4 packs on sale, and so I always just like stock up on those. As far as body wash, I love Dove. I am a Dove girly, okay? And if you're the kind of woman who uses only clean products, non-fragrance products, this probably is not going to be the video for you because that's not a priority for me. I'm just going to keep it real with y'all. It's not a priority for me to only use products that are fragrance-free or like super, super clean. Just keeping it real with y'all. Dove is my favorite body wash, and I actually really love these two scents right here. So this is the cucumber and green tea. You talk about freshness all day. It don't get no better than that. The next one is this rebalancing white peach and rice milk. These two smell so good. This one is like super, super fruity. It leaves your skin smelling edible. And this one is like really, really fresh. I love to use this one for work every day. It just leaves me smelling super fresh. But I stay stocked up on these products right here. Like I usually buy them in a 4-pack from Amazon. super affordable, and I just like to keep them on hand so that I never run out. So I usually keep about 6 bottles of these on hand. So yeah, body wash, face wash. My favorite face wash is Panoxyl from Amazon. I buy it from Amazon. It's an acne face wash because I do get small little bumps on my face. So that's my favorite. I forgot to bring that out, but I usually keep like 3 bottles of that on hand always so that I don't run out. But yes, those are my washes as far as body wash and vaginal wash. I do want to share some like deodorizing products that I like to use. My favorite feminine spray as of right now is the VAGINAL Odor Block Refreshing Spray. I don't use this in any area that it can become harmful to me. I just kind of use it on the scalp. Don't act like y'all don't know what I'm talking about, okay? Just the scalp of my little girlie down there, okay? But that is my favorite spray. It's super, super fresh. You can smell it all day. You know, I have kind of an active job sometimes where I'm like moving around, doing things, and I like to stay fresh. And this is something that really helps me to stay fresh down there. So you just have to be careful about where you use that because you definitely don't want it to be anywhere near the opening of, you know, your girl. So just use that on the scalp area of, you know, your girl. And I like to also use it kind of on my inner thighs as like a non-chafing type of deodorizer. So that helps as well. Another product, my favorite deodorant, is going to be this Dove spray. This is the cucumber green tea deodorant. Absolute fave. It's a must-have for me. I know it's not a super, super clean deodorant, but it is what I like to use. So sorry if that bothers anybody, but yes, that is my favorite deodorant. I also use the Dove aluminum free deodorant in the coconut scent. I buy that one as well, and I do have a few bottles in my closet, but I want to tell y'all my favorites, and that's an absolute fave. It smells so fresh. I can smell it all day. Anytime I move around or raise my arms, I can smell that, and it keeps me fresh all day. Another thing that I would like to stay stocked up on is toothpaste. I think it's super important. I love a good little toothpaste, and I use 2 different types of toothpastes personally. I use a refreshing or fresh toothpaste in the mornings. I like something minty, something with fluoride. That's what I like to use in the mornings because I want my breath to smell good. At night, I kind of prioritize my tooth health a little bit more, so I use a charcoal toothpaste. That's more like a detoxing toothpaste. It's also whitening. So my favorite toothpaste, without a doubt, I'm an Aquafresh girly, so this is my fluoride toothpaste that I use in the morning. You can buy these super affordable. These are 3 packs on Walmart.com. They are literally about $8 for 3. Sometimes if you go to other stores, you're paying like $4 just for one versus $8 for a 3-pack. So I like to order these from Walmart.com, and as you can see, I'm stocked up really well. I have 9 here, so these are 3 packs of my Aquafresh. Another thing, like I said, that I like to use at night is a charcoal-based toothpaste. I used to use another type of charcoal-based toothpaste, I can't think of the name right now. I shared it with you guys in the past, but now I've switched to this Crest Whitening Therapy Charcoal Toothpaste. It's a deep clean toothpaste. It's a detoxing toothpaste, and it also has some enamel building properties in it. You can buy these 3 packs on Amazon or Walmart.com. But yeah, this is the charcoal, so it's like kind of black when you put it on. But you want to talk about some white tea, baby. This right here is going to do it every time. But like I said, at night, kind of prioritize tooth health and whitening, and then during the morning time when I want my breath to smell fresh, I use a fluoride toothpaste. So those are my toothpaste products. Let's go ahead and get into some other type of items that I like to stay stocked up on. So now I just want to go ahead and get into some more general home items that I think it's a good idea to be stocked up on. I did mention toilet paper and paper towels, but I forgot to mention wipes. And girl, I can't even pick them all up. Girl, when I tell you I stay stocked up on the wipes, okay, because I'm a white girly, okay? I like to keep wipes in both of my bathrooms and, you know, just have them around for company if they like to use them. I think they keep you fresher, okay? And I just like to use them. So I love the Cottonelle wipes. You can get these in packs of 8 from Amazon. Super affordable. They're under $15 for an 8-pack. Each one of these packs has 42 wipes, and they last me a long time, and they're great wipes. I like them. They keep you nice and fresh. So I love a good wipe in my bathroom, and I think it's a good idea to stay stocked up on those if you like to use them. I think they're also great for kids to teach kids how to really clean themselves after they use the restroom, whites are great, okay? They're just all around great for keeping you nice and fresh. So moving on, another thing I like to stay stocked up on in my home is candles, okay? I am a candle burning, candle loving girl. I love candles, I love incense, I love scented candles, but I also love to have some emergency candles around just in case something happens, like the power grid goes down, things like that. We've been hearing a lot of conversations about that. You all know that Italy recently had a major power outage all over their country, and it lasted quite a while. So it's always a good idea to have some candles, you know, just to put around your home, whether they're going to be like your general scented candles like these. I love to keep these kind of candles around. These are like nice scented candles, so I stock up on these. I get these from all types of places, from Ross, Target, DD's. I get them everywhere. Any store I can find a good bargain candle, I get them. But I also invest in candles as well. I buy Bath & Body Works candles. I bought some of Jackie Ina's candles. I need to stock up again on hers, but I got to save up for them candles. Okay, I got to save up a little bit. But yeah, I love to keep candles around. So I always have a good stock of candles in my home for both the purposes of scent, but also just in case for emergencies. These are emergency candles, and they're called 115-hour candles. So these are candles that actually burn for 115 hours. You can get these on Amazon in a 6-pack for $40 or around $40. And I think these are great to have just in case of emergency. They're not the most beautiful candles. As you can see, it looks like, you know, a little canister of liquid, and you just light the wick here. But they're great for an emergency if your power goes out, or, you know, God forbid, an earthquake, a disaster where you can't turn on your gas or something like that. These are really great to have. And like I said, you can get these in a pack of 6 on Amazon, and they're great. It's a good idea to have those in addition to candles that you burn for just leisure and luxe lifestyle, okay? Another thing that I always stay stocked up on, laundry supplies. I don't like running out of my detergents and stuff. I'm a Gain girl. I love Gain. I stopped buying dryer sheets like about 10 years ago, and I use the little wool balls now in the dryer, and they really do make my clothes like almost wrinkle free because they kind of beat up the clothes in the dryer. So I don't use dryer sheets anymore, so all I need is my detergent. I do love scent beads, so I use those as well, but like I said, Game girly, and I find that you can find the best deals for these like laundry pods or laundry detergent on Amazon. I'm a price comparison person, and what I'll usually do is when I find something I want on like Walmart.com, I'll go check for it on Amazon and see if it's cheaper. I've been finding the detergent to be a little bit cheaper on Amazon, so that's just a note for you guys. If you're, you know, a person that shops online for that product, I'm finding that Amazon is a little bit cheaper with the detergent. I'll usually find it for like $24 on Walmart.com, and then I'll find it for like $21 on Amazon.com. So, and both have 2-day shipping. So just a note for you guys on that. Another thing I like to stay stocked up on that I'm moving over here towards me is my essential vitamins. These are like critical vitamins that I like to take every single day. I do have a specific video coming for you all on what they are. I am in my 40s. I'm a woman who wants to stay as young, healthy, and just fit as possible for as long as I can. So I am a supplement loving girly, and I have a really good supplement routine that keeps me healthy, keeps me with energy, keeps me looking good, feeling good. So I'm definitely going to be sharing that with you guys. But my essential vitamins are so important. One thing I don't do is stock too far in advance with my vitamins. So I like to keep maybe a month or 2 supply, because vitamins do expire. So I don't want to have a whole year's supply, okay? And then I look up at the bottle and it's expired, because you shouldn't take expired vitamins. But I do like to keep like maybe a 2-month supply, because I know that usually they'll expire in about 4 to 6 months. So I like to stay stocked up on my essential vitamins to keep me nice and healthy. Okay, you all, so now I want to go ahead and talk about a few things that I like to stay stocked up on in my kitchen specifically. One thing I'm super grateful to my grandmother for is for teaching me how to grocery shop. She taught us how to grocery shop so that you always have what you need to make something out of nothing, basically. So she taught us basically a few things you should have in your freezer, a few things you should have in your pantry, and that will allow you to create meals using items that you already have on hand or that you stock up on, basically. And so I love that about my grandmother. She taught me how to shop, because a lot of people do not know how to grocery shop. And so if they don't have like money to spend to go buy groceries, they have nothing that they feel they can cook around their house because they don't know what things to have on hand in order to create meals, basically from your own freezer, your own pantry, your own cabinets, and things like that. So I love that about me, that my granny taught me that. So we're gonna first talk about some pantry staples. There's a few things that I like to always have on hand that I think are super important to stay stocked up on. And like I said, when it comes to preparedness, having some food around is a good idea right now, okay? When I tell y'all, when I show y'all what's inside of my cabinets, I'm gonna take y'all to the cabinets and show y'all. Y'all gonna be like, I damn. Because when I open my cabinets, I don't care how down I'm feeling. When I open my cabinets, I'll be like, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Because I am never low on food, okay? And you're about to see that in a second. But the good thing about me is that I don't let my food expire. I actually check the expirations and I use it before it expires, okay? I cook a lot. I like to cook my own food. I like to eat my own food. So I cook a lot and I do use the groceries that I have. So even though I'm stocked up, I do cook enough that I kind of cycle through things before they expire. So pantry staples, ramen. I am a ramen girly. My little ramen drawer right here, I'm going to show y'all, stays on stock because I love ramen. Pasta, when it comes to pasta, actual pasta, and pasta sauces, super important to me. I stay stocked up on dry pasta. When I'm using fresh pasta, I usually will buy it when I'm going to make it because it expires quickly. But I love to stay stocked up on good dry pasta in my cabinets because I think it's super important to have that. You can create a meal out of nothing. All you need is some pasta, pasta sauce, a little Parmesan in the refrigerator, you know, some oil, maybe a couple of onions, which I also stay stocked up on. So yeah, I love having that around. Another thing is pancake mix. I love to make pancakes, so I always have that around. I love to have rice because rice is another item that you can make something out of nothing. I love canned goods like canned meats, canned vegetables. I like to keep a few of those on hand as well. I don't stock a lot up on canned vegetables because a lot of them do have sodium and they have a lot of additives that I don't like. So, but I do like to have a couple of cans of corn and maybe some greens. I love glory greens, the large can of glory greens. I like to stock up on those, and just certain like things like artichokes and stuff like that. You'll see when I open my cabinets what I like to stock up on as far as that goes. But yeah, I do stock up on a few canned meats and also canned fish. So I love canned salmon. I love canned crab. You're gonna see that when I open up my cabinets. I love, yeah, there's quite a few things. Corned beef hash is one of my favorite things to have for breakfast with eggs. So I stay stocked up on that as well. So yeah, those are a few of my pantry staples. I'm gonna go ahead and take you all over to the pantry real quick and we'll come right back. Okay, you guys, so here we are at my first cabinet, and one thing I like to be stocked up on is antipasto items. I love to make charcuterie platters for myself and for others. When I have company over, I love to whip up one, so I always like to keep a good amount of items on hand for those. And then of course pasta sauces. I mentioned I love to have a good stock of pasta sauce because they just create easy quick meals when you need something to eat. Then of course pasta, you need that. I love to have some good soups on hand, and I also like, of course, my pancake mix. I have a few different kinds and I really like this Dolly Parton one. Again, more pasta at the top. I have rice at the top. I have more ramen at the top. So yeah, this is my first cabinet that I wanted to show you guys. As you can see, I'm well stocked up on these items. Let me go ahead and walk you over to the next cabinet. I opened it up for you guys, so let's get into this one. So in this one, I mentioned that I love to have certain canned meats. Canned crab is one of them. I love canned beans. Of course, cake mix for when I need some dessert. I like to have cake mix and icings. On this side, I have grits, cornmeal, things like that, rice bowls that I can just heat up in the microwave. Again, more canned meat, so I have a lot of salmon, some chipotle peppers because I love to cook with those, some vegetables, as you can see, some canned veggies, but I don't have a lot of those because I don't stock too far in advance on those. More canned meats. I love corned beef hash, so I love to have that stocked up. I love country sausage with biscuits and things like that. Canned meats, again, not for everybody, but you know, I grew up eating that, so not an issue for me. And then I do have some canned fruits and things like that. I also have a lot of tuna. That's what all of this is tuna. This is another rice bowl. So yeah, I'm a little tight up in the space because, you know, I like to have what I have and, you know, stock up on certain things. But yes, I do cook a lot, and a lot of this stuff does get used definitely before it expires. So yeah, those are the cabinets, you guys. My little kitchen. Anyway, let's get back to the video. Alright, so you guys saw what my pantry staples are and how stocked those cabinets are. And hopefully that'll help you all out when it comes to grocery shopping and what you should have on hand in your cabinet so that you can cook meals at home when you need to. And God forbid, in case of an emergency where we're all stranded or stuck in our homes, that you have what you need, because you know the grocery shelves are going to be empty quick, like just like they were during the pandemic. But now we're going to go ahead and talk about a few freezer staples. Now, I hate food getting freezer burn, and that occurs pretty easily, especially with things like chicken. Unless it's ground chicken, which that can also get freezer burn, it can get freezer burn pretty quick. So I don't stock. I'm very particular about what I stock up on as far as the freezer goes. I love to have frozen fruit. I got about 3-4 bags of frozen fruit in my deep freezer. I love to have that. I buy the big bags from Costco or Sam's Club. I'll buy like a mixed berry. I'll buy like a large bag of mango. I'll buy a large bag of pineapple tidbits and things like that. I just like to mix it up to make smoothies and things like that. Or if I'm making like, you know, a crumble, I already have like some strawberries and stuff like that. So I love to have bags of fruit in my freezer. Another freezer staple is frozen veggies. I prefer frozen veggies over canned veggies. I find that they have less sodium, and they also seem to taste better to me when you thaw them out and use them. So I love a good frozen veggie. Seafood, big thing in my freezers. I have shrimp, I have crab, I have all types of seafood in my freezers. As far as ground meats, I think that's a good go-to when it comes to your freezer as far as like stocking up. Ground beef, ground sausage, ground chicken, they usually last a lot longer than the actual meat, like a steak, because it's generally going to get frostbite if you have your temperature at the right temp. It can get frostbite. So I prefer ground meats when it comes to stocking up. If I'm going to cook those other types of meats, I buy them usually maybe a week before I'm going to cook them. I don't like to have them in the freezer too long, so I don't stock up far in advance on like steaks and, you know, certain types of fish and things like that. But ground meats I love, and certain seafoods. I want to share some particular meats that I love to have in my freezer right now. So one thing that I just will never get low on is sausage. These types of breakfast sausages, this is the Jimmy Dean sage sausages. I have 6 of these right here. I just pulled all these out of my freezer right now, you guys, because I like to use this. I use this for breakfast. I use this in my sausage and kale soup. I use this to make pastas, like different types of pastas. When I told you I have 6, I got 6 of these. But I love to use these to make certain types of pastas, like sausage, ground sausage. And I love the sage flavor, so that's just my preference on that. But yeah, I love to have ground sausage in my freezer, always on hand. Another thing I like to have is andouille sausage or posta kielbasa. These are genuine Louisiana andouille sausages. I love to have these to make like seafood dishes, seafood boils, gumbo, jambalaya, things like that. But I also love to have these types of sausages, which are the ring sausages. These last long in the freezer. You don't really have to worry about them getting like major frostbite or anything. So I love to have these on hand as well. And usually you can find these on sale, and that's a good time to stock up on them. So yeah, those are a few of the things I like to have in the freezer. Like I said, ground meats are my preference. I have a lot of seafood as far as shrimp and things like that. Sausages and stuff like that I think are great. I have hash browns in my freezer, like the little frozen ones from Trader Joe's. Love to keep those in the freezer as well for like breakfast and things like that. So there's a few other honorable mentions that I do have in my freezer, but these are the things that I really stay stocked up on ahead, so that I always have little something to make something out of nothing. Now I want to talk about a few other kitchen things that I love to have. Tea is a must. I drink coffee. I love coffee, but I drink tea every single day. I do not drink coffee every single day, but tea is something that I drink every day. It helps me to feel good. I think it helps with maintaining my weight as well. I just love a good tea. Lately I've been loving this one. This is a turmeric ginger cinnamon tea, and I get this from Amazon. I'll link it for you. This tea is so amazing. Not only does it help your skin look clearer, but it has so many good properties. The turmeric is anti-inflammatory. It's great for your joints and things like that. And because I do work out and stuff, it really helps with that. The cinnamon has a lot of properties that help the body. Like this tea, it's bomb. So I'm gonna link that for you guys. But yeah, tea is a must. I do have some coffee supplies, but coffee is not as much of a essential thing as tea is to me. Of course, water. I like to stay stocked up on a good amount of water bottles. I do have a water filter on my sink, but I don't always drink tap water. Sometimes I just need water bottles, And so just keeping it real with you guys, I don't always drink the tap. Sometimes I do drink the tap, and if I'm making like lemonade or some type of, you know, drink at home, I'll use the tap water and use the filter. But for the most part, I do like to drink water bottles, and I do recycle. So we have a nice recycle bin back there that we put all of our recyclables in, and the city takes them and does whatever with them. But yeah, I like to keep stocked up on water. And I think that's another thing when it comes to the idea of preparedness for emergencies. You always want to have a good amount of water. So those are my kitchen staples. Showed you guys around a little bit to show you what they are. I do want to talk about some honorable mentions, and then I want to talk about a few things that I actually stopped stocking up on and why. So now that I've walked you all through my kitchen staples, I do want to share a few honorable mentions that I like to be stocked up on. The first thing, of course, is going to be feminine care products such as pads, tampons, panty liners. I always like to keep a good stock of those. I hate the idea of running out of pads when you need them. Like anything like that, I'm gonna stay stocked up on, because I don't want to have to like start my period, go to the store and get those things versus like just already having them. Like I don't understand people who don't prepare for that, especially when you get to a certain age. Like maybe when I was in my 20s, I would run out of stuff and I'm like, oh shit, I need to get to the store. Like, oh my God, this is a problem because I didn't have any. But at my big old age, girl, you better stock up on what you need as far as that goes. Definitely sexual protection. Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about. That sort of thing is always good to be stocked up on, you know. What else? Is there anything else that I would consider a honorable mention? I guess not. You know, there's things that I stock up on, you know, my little snacks, sodas, things like that I always like to have around, but I don't consider those to be any kind of essential items. Like I really want to focus more on the essentials, and that's basically all of them. You know, things to keep my house smelling fresh, like my little plug-ins and things like that. Love to have a good stock of those. What else? I guess that's pretty much all that I actually like stock up on, meaning that I like to have a good amount. You know what I'm saying? There's a few things that I don't stock up on anymore. I did mention that I don't stock far in advance when it comes to my vitamins because I don't want them to expire. I keep that in mind with a few other things that I don't want to expire too quickly. So I don't stock too much up on seasonings because those are something that can expire. I do buy bulk size seasonings, but I season and cook a lot. But I don't like buy a whole bunch where I just have like a cabinet full of garlic powder. No, I'll just have one, and then when I find that it's time for me to buy a new one, then I'll go buy a new one of that. So I know some people like they stock up on seasoning, and seasonings expire. They turn colors and they look all weird, so I don't like to stock too far in advance up on seasoning. What else? Is there anything else that I don't? Makeup, I don't stock up on anymore. I used to, like, if I liked the foundation, I would buy, you know, a few of them just to have on hand. I don't really do that anymore, because makeup expires, for one. For two, it can oxidize and change colors. For three, sometimes I lose interest and I just don't even want to use it anymore. Or my skin color changes or something changes. It starts to break me out. My skin starts to react and I can't use it anymore. So I hate that, you know, idea of investing in a certain beauty product like a foundation that's kind of expensive, and then later on I don't even want to use it anymore. It doesn't match me. It doesn't fit me. I don't like it anymore. So I don't stock up on makeup anymore. Like I used to get this FOMO feeling with makeup, but now I don't anymore. Like I used to want to have more if I really liked a product, but now I'm like, I'll get it when I need it, if I need it again. I can wait. Skincare is another thing that I'm careful about stocking up on because it expires and because you need to be able to store it properly. I don't like to stock too far in advance because I don't want to put it in a location where it goes bad or something like that. Space can be an issue when it comes to that because I do like to keep my skincare products all together in a certain place. So I don't stock up because for one, I don't have the space, and for two, I don't want it to expire, and for three, I might change my mind about the product. So that's something that I learned from trial and error, from throwing away a lot of my money, is not to stock up on a bunch of skincare months in advance that I don't need, and just to buy it as I need it. So those are some of my honorable mentions and some of the things that I no longer stock up on. I really, really hope you find this video helpful. Like I said, we've been hearing a lot about preparedness and having the things you need in case there's an emergency. You know, of course, we've been hearing that T word, the tariffs and things like that a lot. And so I think it's a good idea just to think about the things that you want to have in your home that you don't want to run out of. Okay, it's not anything to panic about. It's not anything to get up in arms about. So please don't start leaving me comments like, this is ridiculous, da, da, da. Like, we all live the way we live. We choose to, you know, do things the way we want to do them. So please respect my decisions and I respect yours. But yeah, I do think when it comes to certain things, it's a good idea to be prepared, especially if you have like a whole family. If you have a husband, kids, and you know y'all need certain things, you might want to consider stocking up. I've left the best price options for you all in the description. So I found the items at the best prices that I could and left them for you all. So if you're interested in picking up any items you saw, of course, y'all know what to do. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this little video. Get your stock up on, get those essentials, get prepared just in case. Thank you all so much for checking out this video all about 10 items that I always stay stocked up on in my home, as well as a few items that I stopped stocking up on. I really hope you found this video helpful. I think preparedness is something that we should all be thinking about right now because it's just a lot going on. Okay, I'm not going to dive into it because I would hate the idea of being one of those scaremonger type of people, but it's always good to keep essentials in your home, at least a good supply if you can afford it. I know that's not ideal for everybody for budget reasons, sometimes for space reasons, but if you can stock up on a few emergency items that you know you're going to need, it's a good idea to do so, especially right now, and especially things like batteries, toilet paper, paper towels, things like that, first aid items, candles, just in case power goes out and things like that. It's always good to have those types of things around the house. And of course, if you're a woman, feminine care products are important. You know, things that you do your laundry with, anything, like I said, that you wash your body with or your face. It's a good idea to have a little bit of a stock on those if you're able to. So hopefully this video was helpful. Of course, I did go ahead and link everything you saw in today's video in the description. From my wig, my outfit, and all of the products you saw, it's linked in the description. So just check that description if you want to pick up any of my specific items. But these items are very much practical. So you can just go to the search engines on Walmart.com, Amazon.com, Target.com, whatever, and search these items if you would prefer to do that. But of course, I did go ahead and link them. Another thing I want you to do, go ahead and hit that subscribe button before you go. If you are not a part of my little family here, girl, what is you doing? You might as well go ahead and subscribe. I mean, you can never have too many fun, lighthearted, cute African-American women on your subscribe list, okay? So go ahead and add me if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. To all my regulars, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I love y'all so much, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye, y'all.